Good day, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to do the ratios. This is a grade 8 and 9 topic. Now, the ratio, when we talk about the ratio, guys, we are talking about the relationship between numbers or quantities, or the comparison between two numbers or quantities. We are comparing, right? Now, when we talk about the ratio, how do you find this relationship between the two numbers? We find them by dividing the two numbers. Now let's look. Let's look here. Let's look here. The question, it says write the following pair of numbers in a simplest form. What do we mean by the simplest form? Between these two numbers that we are comparing there, we need to find the common factor. So if we divide by the common factor there, that means the number will be simplest form. So the only number that will be divisible by there, it's going to be 1. Okay. Now let's look at 24 is to 36. The first thing there, you need to find the highest common factor. The highest common factor between the two numbers there, it's 12. So what are you going to do with the 12? I'm going to divide by 12 both numbers. So I divide by 12. So 24 divided by 12 is what? Is 2. And 36 divided by 12 is what? Is 3. So there's now this ratio of 2 is to 3. There's no common factor between the two now, and it's in a simplest form. So the only common factor between the two, it has to be 1. So that's the only factor that we have there. So alternatively, what you can do without dividing by the highest common factor there, you can take any common factor there, not the highest. Let's say it's 24 is to 36. Let's say the number that enters there, it's 6. Let's say we'll divide by 6 there. So 24 divided by 6 is what? Is 4. And 36 divided by 6 is 6. And then what is a number that is common? What is the common factor between the two numbers? The common factor between the two numbers is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Can you see? So if you look at these two numbers, if you multiply them, the two numbers, it's what? It's 12. That makes the what? The HCF there. Let's look at this one. It's the simplest. Then this one, so 3 is to 2, the highest common factor there, it's between those two numbers, which is what? It's 3. What do you do with the 3? You divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 21 divided by 3 is what? Is 7. That's simple. Let's look at this one. So we have 10 is to 15 is to 35. So what is the highest common factor between the two numbers? Is what? It's 5. It's 5. What do you do with the 5? We divide all the numbers by 5. 10 divided by 5, it's 2. And 15 divided by 5, it's 3. And 35 divided by 5, it's what? It's 7. Now this is in a simplest form. How? The only number that is common between the two, the only common factor between the two, it's only 1. That means it's in a simplest form, right? So guys, here we have now the ratio of 3 kilometers is to 20 meters, right? So one of the important thing there that you should understand is conversion. 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 what? 1,000 meters. That's very important. So in order to convert from kilometers to meters, that means you have to multiply by what? By 1,000. In order to convert from meters to kilometers, you divide by what? By 1,000. It's very important. So what are we going to do? We're going to convert the bigger units there, which is the kilometers, to the smaller units, to meters. So what are we going to do with the 3 kilometers? We'll say 3 kilometers multiply because we're coming from kilometers to what? To meters. So we're going to change this into, we multiply by what? By 1000. So the answer will be what? 3000 what? Meters. So let's rewrite the ratio again. So instead of 3 kilometers, we're going to have what? 3000 meters is to 20 meters. So now remember what you have done here. We cannot solve this ratio without making the units the same. So we have the different units there. We have kilometers and meters, so you can't proceed with that. It looks like that. So now in this one, so now we have to find the HCF. Now the HCF between the two numbers is what? Is 20. So what are we going to do with the 20? We divide by what? By 20. 3000 divided by 20. Let me punch it quickly in the calculator. 3000 divided by 20, it's 150. So 3000 divided by 120, it's 150, and 20 divided by 20, it's what? It's 1. So let's move to this one. Now this one, it needs conversion as well. You cannot proceed with this one without converting. It's 60 centimeter is to 1,2 meters. So the conversion is between centimeter and meter. So 1 meter is equivalent to 100 what? Centimeters. Very important to memorize that. From meters to kilometer to centimeters, what do? You multiply by 100. From centimeters to meters, you divide by what? By 1000. It's very important. Now what are we going to do? We're going to convert the meters to centimeters, the biggest units to the smallest unit. So we take the 1,2 meters. What do we do? From meters to centimeter, we multiply by what? By 100. So it's going to be 120 what? 120 centimeter. So I'm rewriting again. Instead of 60, I'll write 120 centimeter is to 1,2 what? Meters. No man. So it's 60 centimeter. Instead of 1.2, I'll write 120. So it's 120 centimeter. So now I can work on it. Now I can simplify it into a simplest ratio because the units are what? The same. So the highest common factor there between 60 is to 120. The highest common factor is what? Is 60 itself. So we divide by what? By 60. So 60 divided by 60, it's 1. 120 divided by 60 is 2. So this ratio, it's in a simplest form. Now let's look at number 6. Now this number 6, now it's in a decimal form. It's 1.2 is to 0.3. So what do we do there? We check if the 0.3, how many 0.3s in 1.8. It's very important there. So if you say 1.8 divided by 0.3 in your calculator, you'll find 6. That means the HCF here, it's 0.3, and then you divide by what? By 0.3. So 1.8 divided by 0.3, it's what? 6. 0.3 divided by 0.3 is what? It's 1. Let me show you an alternative to do this one. If you find it difficult to work with the decimals, so what are you going to do there? You're going to change these decimals into whole numbers. Since you have 1 0 there, so you times by 10. If you have 1 0, you times by 10. If you have 2 zeros, you times by 100. If you have 3 zeros, you times by 1000. You see, 1 0, it's 1 0 there, 2 zeros there, 3 zeros, 3 zeros there. So I'm going to convert these decimals. I'm going to convert these decimals by multiplying by 10 first. which is 1.8 multiplied by 10 is going to be 18. 0.3 multiplied by 10 is 3. Now the HCF between 18 is to 3 is what? It's 3. So we will divide by what? By 3. Right? 18 divided by 3 is what? 6. And then 3 divided by 3 it's 1. Do you see? You get the same answer as that one, but in a different way. Now let's look at this ratio now. The last one. This ratio will have 0.4 is to 1,2. So what are you going to do there? You check if 0,4, if you divide 12 by 0,4, what answer are you going to get? If you get the whole number there, that means the highest common factor is what? Is 0,4. How many 0,4s in 1.2? There are 3 of them. So what are you going to do? You're going to divide by 0,4. 0,4 divided by 0,4 it's 1. 1,2 divided by 0,4 it's 3. That's easy. Let's look at the alternative method. So it's 0,4. What are you going to do there? I'm going to change these decimals because there you have 1 0 there. You times by what? By 10. So 0,4 times 10 is what? It's 4. And 1,2 times by 10 it's 12. And then the highest common factor between 12 and 4 it's what? It's 4. What are you going to do with the highest common factor there? You divide by it. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is what? 3. Do you see the answers are the same? I hope that makes sense, guys.